So Too Nasty is a forgotten album. Now the irony is, first of all, MC Shy D worked with DJ Toomp. And MC Shy D went to jail for a little while. But when he came out and heard about it, he made a phone call and said, I'd like to participate in that album. Well, they turned him down. The truth is, Shy D and Toomp had a little rift because when Shy D was suing Luke, Toomp wanted to continue producing for Luke. Well, eventually Toomp had to leave also. Lack of finances is lack of finances. Lack of payments, lack of payment. Everyone eventually gets burned. So when it came to Attitude Records, that's where I was working as a producer. Embarrassingly, I called myself Beatmaster Miami J at the time, working out of Jacksonville, Florida at Attitude Records under Mamadou. Mamadou was my engineer, a fairly successful producer in her own right, still in the industry, still working many angles with a lot of acts. And when I heard that Brother Marquise was putting out an album through Attitude, I said, let me produce. I want to produce Brother Marquise. He's one of my idols. I would love to work with him. But of course, the album Came to the Doors was already produced, so we didn't need it. They didn't need me. And that's okay. I was working on my own material with my partner, Brett Hammock, Be Nasty. The issue at the time I was working there was that the car audio bass market was just a cash cow. You need no radio play. You need no video. You just produce an album with a lot of bass from beginning to end, and you service a car show. Anyone there with the system might want to hear your CD, and if they liked it and they played it and they gave it to their friend, then you're making money. So the profit margin was much, much higher. But for me as an artist, I wasn't concerned with profit margins. I was concerned with the idea that you could make quality music. Even if most people didn't see Miami Bass as quality, I knew the potential of this genre. But it just didn't happen because car audio bass was crushing us. At the time, everyone else took part in it. Derek Rameng spearheaded Power Supply. DXJ, Magatron became Bass Tech DXJ. Danny D had multiple aliases with DJ Laz, Techno Master DL, and I think Captain Quad, Captain Funk, something of that nature. That was car audio bass. Everyone that could cash in did. Debonair even became Quad Queen. He became transgendered for a moment to do a car audio bass album. But there were some groups who were bridging it. In Orlando, there was a group named Brothers of the Struggle, DJ Fury and RX Lord. And when Joy Boy Records started to note that DJ Magic Mike was outselling everybody, they wanted a competition for DJ Magic Mike, and they heard about Brothers of the Struggle, and they signed them, and they said, listen, you guys should change your name to Bass Patrol, a name we used previously for Calvin Mills' project. You can now use this name, and we'll sell you as a competitor to DJ Magic Mike for the car audio bass market, spearheaded by Techmaster. Well, they did a couple albums very quickly. DJ Fury solo album, Bass Patrol album, Kings of Bass, flooded the market, and the pre-orders came rolling in more than the record label had ever seen. I think what's notable about Bass Patrol is they did a great job of bridging the markets. There was still legitimate hip-hop, there was still legitimate club bass, but it was all within the parameters of what would work within a car audio bass. And they weren't alone. Quad Force in Tampa, working for Underwood Records, did the same thing. And successfully. They were new, they were young, they didn't know all the formula as to what made quality Miami bass music, but at the same time they made some damn good records, and they did a better job at bridging the car audio bass market with what was hip-hop and club bass. So there were artists out there really working hard to bridge it. In fact, Underwood Records couldn't handle the product. They were selling faster than they could produce. So Daryl Underwood, called up Jeff Cohen at Attitude Records in Jacksonville, Florida, and said, can you take this project off my hands? I don't know how to handle it. Of course, Jeff Cohen took it. And Quad Force remixed the album, added some new tracks, updated it a bit for their fans. And that happened to be the time I came rolling through Attitude. I was already producing another label, another studio, but I wanted to work with Mamadou. I wanted to work with the SB1200, which she was the owner of. And I met Quad Force. And we got along immediately. We had a similar vision. Although they were leaning a bit more towards car audio bass, I didn't want to compromise. And they offered me a record deal. They said they were starting their own label, but I was always independent and ferociously independent. So at the time, I started looking for other options. It doesn't have to be car audio bass. It doesn't have to be booty music. What else can we do? And I remember that it was Dynamix 2 that had spearheaded a new sound, a new movement, a new era. When Dave Nollers teamed up with Scott Weiser and they bridged electro bass, classic Miami bass, industrial music, there was something a little more adult about it, something a little more refined. And when the album You Hear It, You Fear It came out in 1992, I said, these guys are going to a future landscape, and I could follow that. I don't want to rip them off. I don't want to copy them. I'm not here to do exactly what they did, but it proved something new could be done within the realms of Miami bass. I believed in the genre. Well, they did what they did. They followed it up with Machine Language in a matter of months, EP. I was a big fan of both, but I just couldn't figure out where do I fit in? If they're doing something so uniquely different, and at the same time, the car audio bass was doing its thing, where do I fit in? I said, well, I can speed it up. I can follow Devastator's lead. Other groups such as Chuck Smooth and Chuck Grimes and Kid Money did Splat Pack, becoming the new booty bass group for Cut It Up Death. I saw that the trenches were dug. You had to find your place in it. Well, by the time I got to Attitude, I didn't want to sign with Attitude. I just wanted to record there and remain independent. And I recorded a 3-song demo. Miami Style for a while, Latin bass, inspired in large part by DJ Laz and Danny D, and then a B-side, a song I called Who Let the Dogs Out. Now with Who Let the Dogs Out, it was a misheard lyric. In fact, the whole era comes to a nexus. For Bass Patrol, they had sampled a record that I'd never heard. And in the bridge of a song called The Mad Scientist, they looped this sample over and over, a vocal sample. I came to find out that that sample was Hassan, which is a Stevie B record. Hassan and MC Zeus contributed. At the opening of that record, they say, "Who's running this doghouse? Who? And when I heard this looped within Bass Patrol's album, I said, I wonder what those guys are saying, because it's buried in the mix. I couldn't figure it out. And my partner, Brett Hammock, B Nazty, would play this every day. And I kept saying, what is this thing that you're playing? What are they saying? What is this? Who let the dogs out? Is that what they're saying? So eventually I said to him, that's a good hook. You know? It kind of makes sense, because we were Miami bass aficionados, and Miami bass is known for booty and sexual exploits. Hey, we want some pussy. We never made a song like that. I was too busy referencing history of Miami bass, you know, my true destiny. So I said we should make a song that references it. Hey, why don't we make a nasty song? What would we call it? Well, that makes sense. Who let the dogs out? Somebody let the dogs out of us. That was the whole point of the song. It was a little bit of a joke. I was making fun of him for what he was listening to that I didn't understand. That's not to say I wasn't a Bass Patrol fan, but he was a bigger Bass Patrol fan. So it just made sense. It all just fell in place. And we recorded it in 1992. And we took our 3-song demo from Jacksonville down to Miami and approached DJ Laz for maybe the second or third times of our life. He was on the radio alongside Felix Sama and Mohamed Moretta, staples in the industry. And we'd already asked him to play our songs multiple times over. And he took an interest in this EP. Why? Because I had a song in it called Latin Bass that was largely influenced by DJ Laz. So I spoke with Laz on the phone maybe 6 months, 8 months later. What do you think of the EP? Are you playing it? Are you interested? I love it. You guys did a song called Latin Bass. That's, of course, right up my alley. I love what you guys are doing. So, according to him, he played our EP. We had innovators. We had a DJ Magic Mike, Mr. Mix, Jealous J, Danny D, DJ Wiz, on and on. The list is endless. We had innovators. We had guys who would sit down for hours with a blue pencil and strips of tape to make edits by hand. The Whiz Kids, the Blade Runners, These were our innovators, and there's no reason why we shouldn't have been seen during that time. If Miami Bass has any epilogue, it's truly West Palm Beach's own Raylo, Raymond Hartley. He helped with Chipman to produce the most up-tempo interpretation of Let's Dance to the Drummer's Beat to date. And that was a song that was a bit of fun, called Peanut Butter Jelly Time, which may have been forgotten if it wasn't used as an internet joke that ultimately ended up on Family Guy. God bless him. I mean, do what you got to do, make your hit, find your fame. It's not my intention with the music, but it's not all about me. And it's sad to say that in the end we're only remembered as a joke when we were everything. We were fun, we were serious, we were quality, and we put out a lot of garbage too. And that's no different than any other genre.